Alright, so welcome back. We are going to start working on all the axle stuff, get it all bolted up, make it a full-blown roller. So swing arm on, got the axle, I've already made it, just a piece of stainless steel, turned down, put a hex on the end of it, and then have a nylock on the end. It's like a 28 millimeter, some fucking weird metric size. So did that, and then to not make a weird metric thread, I just necked it down to 1 inch. So I don't know if I said it before, but the plates, one's actually like the axle plates, one's 28 mil. I believe this one and the other one is 1 inch. So yeah, we'll start making the axle adjuster plates with the pusher bolts we'll push on. So we'll start doing those. And yeah, then we'll get this thing bolted up, start making spacers, all that jazz. But yeah, we'll get on the mill and start doing those axle adjuster plates. Right, so here's the axle adjuster plates. Just went under the the belt sander, and rounded them off, cleaned them up, Scotch-Brighted them. So those look good. And then there's a 1/4 inch fine bolt there with a nut to lock it. So to tighten the chain up, just bring those back, measure from the center to here. They're the same on both sides. So yeah, just start pushing it back, tighten up the chain, make sure it's straight, just like a dirt bike. Nothing really too fancy. Now I'm going to start making the spacers here for the wheel. So I got the wheel pretty well centered. I've measured it. Now we're going to go onto the lathe, turn those down to the size. I just got a 2 inch piece of round stock. This is 1.5 inches or something like that, or 1 3/4 inches. So we'll turn those down, and then we'll start parting them off and make the spacers themselves. Get those on, then we can tighten this axle up and get the chain on. Alright, so we got the wheel spacers all done. This side, it's going to have the brake caliper bracket welded to it. I'm going to wrap around, welded to it, and then it'll hold the caliper up here. And then the other side, it's just a little tiny guy. So got that all worked in there. I lined up the wheel as close to center as I call it. And then that spacer I made for the sprocket, obviously there was a belt drive on here before. So we put a sprocket on here, made this spacer, and it's hanging out quite a bit, but it'll work. It's still on the spline, about 7/8 of the whole thing. So yeah, that's all lined up now. So we can, I got the chain on that thing already. So all I have to do is cut the chain, or make it fit, and then we can, start moving on. Alright, so got the chain all sized up, figured out where it needs to go. I don't have a chain brake, I know. So this is the way I've done it all the time, so I never bought a chain brake. And just grind each side down and then start punching it. So just grind one side down. And then do this side. Make this up a wee bit. Down. I can get a punch, you can find where it used to be. You'll start to see it come through. this thing a little harder. There we go, it's starting to move now. There we go. Now, and we have a chain broken. There we go. The O-rings. Alright, beauty. So now put this on the bike. Get her all fitted up. Alright, so we got the chain all cut. It's all mounted on. I have a, or the link that came with it I didn't know is a rivet style link. It's going through the chain, through the swing arm. So I know the rivet style link is stronger for higher horsepower stuff, which this is probably going to be. But I'm still going to put master link in it because going through the frame it will be a pain in the ass to chain break it every time you need to do anything. So we are, right now it's, when I ground out one of these tubes, the one tube here that bends out for the chain to sneak through, it's, I ground it out and I didn't cap it yet because I was afraid that the chain might touch it, and it's right there. So I'm still going to have to grind a little out of the swing arm off of this one tube, and we'll block and we'll cover that up and make it all finished. And then we're going to make a plate and get some Durlin, like hard plastic, machine that down so it'll be a chain guide right through. It won't let the chain go up, down, side to side, and that'll kind of block it from hitting anything going through the swing arm there, so that'll be good. I was going to work on the rear brake mount and make it part of this spacer, scrap the spacer that I made and make one with the brake caliper mount in it, but I don't have the material here. It's on its way, so I'm going to use a 10-inch round chunk, and then it'll be a whole thing, but I think it's the best way to do it without dicking around. It'll actually turn out pretty good. So right now we're going to go and start making the subframe mounts. You got the mild steel, 1-inch mild steel, all cut up. We're going to make it so it's slip fit for the tubing, 1-inch tubes off the top, 3/4-inch tubes off the bottom. So we'll go to the lathe, we'll machine all those up, then we can slide the tubes in, or then we can go to the milling machine, put the hole in it and everything, so for the bolt. And then, yeah, we can start to fit them up, take a step back, see the angle that we want to do, and start making the subframe. So let's get a seat on this thing. Alright, so for all the little pieces you just saw me machine, this is what I use. I need it at a 4-degree angle. Those are all the ends of the subframe. So I need it at a 4-degree angle, so I milled this side flat and then this side canted it up at 4 degrees and then milled that flat. So then it's just repeatability. Put this in the vise, put each one on top and just mill it off, so it's all repeatable. Dead easy, super simple to set up. So here is the subframe, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's close to the angle I wanted at. So all these tubes are all slip fit. We just machined all those things, all these guys, all 4 of them. So this is all slip fit in there. This isn't the angle these are going to be at. They're going to be slightly up. Obviously they're extra long, so I can cope, do a long cope. So I'll pull these out, bring them up right now, mark them, and then we can put them in the mill, cope them with a 1-inch hole saw to match, do both the exact same, so they'll be close to the same. This is about at a 4.5 degree angle, canted up, And then where those touch, then we're gonna pinch this in. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this back part. We'll pinch them in so they're a couple inches away. We'll pinch them in and they'll point in, and then we'll have a crossbar to go on. Then we'll start tack welding everything up, and this is basically a jig in itself. So once we get that center bar on, and we'll start tacking everything together. And then weld it as much as we can on here, bring it to the bench, weld it on, and then we can sit on this thing. We got a seat. Alright, so we're working on the caliper mount. We're getting rid of that spacer that I made on the left side of the rear wheel. And we're going to make, I was going to make just a plate and then cut out a bit of the spacer and put it in there. But I figured might as well try to do something else. I was also going to weld it on, but I didn't think that would look good. So I got a piece of 8-inch round stock and started machining away, taking all my measurements. I had to do it on a bigger lathe, so I didn't do it here, didn't get any footage of it. But basically just 8-inch round, and then went in with a parting tool. Lots of chatter, lots of shittiness, but we can clean that all up later. And so yeah, this side will be the brake caliper mount side, and this will be the brake stay to stop it from rotating when you hit the brakes. So yeah, we got that disc all made, a spool kind of thing made up. So right now we're going to take a measurement with the caliper on, hole saw with a 2-inch hole saw so the caliper can sit in there, mark our bolt holes, drill those, tap them, then we can put this on the bike and see how it fits, and then we can mark some lines for the caliper, and then once we have that on the bike, then we can figure out where our brake stay is going to go. And then pretty much all we got to do is just mill out whatever is not a caliper mount. And yeah, so hopefully we can get that done relatively quick and move on. Alright, so you guys didn't see some stuff. I got it all fitted up, just in between. It's so hard when you're jumping all over the shop, from the bandsaw to the milling machine, all that stuff. So ended up cutting it all out so it fits the caliper. Ran into a problem, that's the main reason why I didn't film a bunch of stuff. So got the caliper here, and when I measured it, put it on there, and kind of backed it up a little bit till it just wasn't touching the disc. And then rotated it, and then I thought it was fine. Never really rotated it. So when I did finally cut this out, and that's when I figured out I needed an 8-inch diameter. When I did rotate it, all of a sudden, oh. So it's hitting the 5 little chunks that are holding, that the bolt holes for the rotor go through. Fucking idiot for not realizing that. But when you bumped it up, the bolt holes were just on the very tip, just even hanging over the edge of the material. So I went on the weld, took my TIG out and built up a bunch of weld on it. It's barely, like 7/8 of the hole is in the parent metal. It's not going to be a problem. So yeah, now it rotates nicely around. I drilled and tapped the holes, so they're all good. I've just put this on the bike with the axle, and then these scribe lines, not sure if you can see them, but this is for the brake stay. So when I weld a little piece of round stock onto the swing arm, there's going to be a slot in here that's the same length as the slot from the axle, and that'll allow you to move the wheel forward and back, and the brake stay to be part of this and not do anything funky. And then I also marked out where the caliper is going to be. So right now we're going to go on to the milling machine and set this all up, find the straight line just with, I don't know, end mill, go across, knock it around until it's generally in the right area. We'll do a 2-inch long oblong hole there and then cut these sides out. Do the same on the other side, just do that, try and put a triangle to take some weight out of the caliper mount, and then we'll put it all on the rotary table and then go around, and the other side go around, and then the whole chunk will slide off, and then we'll have a caliper mount. We just have to grind it up and make it look nice, but we're getting there, pretty close. Alright, so here is the caliper mount. It's good, it's on there, tight, it fits perfect. I machined just a little peg. It was nothing to really show, just turned down a little piece of cold rolled steel. And then it's the exact right size for that slot in the back. So now we move the wheel forward and back. The caliper stays in the exact same location on the wheel, straight up and down. So that's nice, and when you hit the brakes, it'll obviously, that peg will stop it, and then weld the peg to the back side of the axle plate. So it's looking good. It's got brakes front and back now on the spikes, so happy about that. Chains on, everything's good. So don't have to take the wheels off again until we're gonna finish the bike and we're gonna get it powder coated the frame. So next episode we are going to work on the foot pegs, foot peg mounts, shifter lever, brake lever, all that stuff. Mount the master cylinder for the brake, and clip-on bars. So we're gonna do all that next episode. So yeah, watch for that, and thanks for watching.